So, how was growing up in NZ in New Plymouth?
Yeah, it was awesome, mate. Obviously, it's an awesome place to live. Coastlines right there and mountains, so you get the best of both worlds, really. So I was mad into my fishing, my surfing, and skiing, and then obviously you got the rugby, and it's just a good outdoor lifestyle, which is really cool.
You can ski nearby.
Yeah, it's literally from where I live, it's like 40 minutes away, and
Oh,
then you can go and ski in the morning, go surfing in the afternoon if you want.
oh, that's sick. Yeah, I knew there was a bit of skiing down in NZ, but yeah, that's sick. It was so close. And you mentioned surfing there. I see on your Instagram you still do a little bit, or you still try and surf when you can.
Yeah, mate, I try and get out as much as I can. It's pretty hard where we are in the Midlands. We're literally, I think it's geographically the middle of England, so it's pretty far away.
Yeah,
About 2.5 hours to the nearest coast. So yeah, the surfing's taken a bit of a backtrack, which the back seat, which is yeah, it's not ideal because I do love it.
yeah, yeah. And what else do you get up to outside of rugby? Play with the golf?
Yeah, no, obviously with no surfing, I've got into golf quite a bit. Really enjoy it. We've got lots of guys here that play, and so that keeps the competition going without amongst the lads.
Who's the best on the team?
Uh, I've got that one at the moment.
Oh, yeah, yeah. What do you play off?
I think I'm around sixth at the moment.
Oh, nice one.
So yeah, I enjoy it. I'm pretty obsessed with it at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those sports where if you kind of want to be decent, you got to kind of keep at it, don't you?
Oh, you do, mate. And summer's good here because we've got real long hours. So, we're always out after pre-season. Pre-season's pretty short and sharp. So, normally out of there by sort of midday so we can get out in the afternoon and play lots. But now the snow's hit. So, I don't think there'll be much golfing going on at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned preseason there. What's the schedule like, say, in season? Do you get like a day off during the week, or how long you in, or how does that work?
Yeah. So, for example, this week, so we played Friday night just gone. So, we got the weekend off, Saturday, Sunday off. We play on Saturday against Worcester. So, train today, very light session. You do all like your reviews, previews, just your walkthroughs and stuff for the week coming. Tomorrow, we'll be in again. Tomorrow's our fast day. So, obviously, you do weights today, do weights again tomorrow, and then it's about running fast. So lots of sort of ball and play time, and sort of running quick, but lots of rest. So you still do your set piece attack. And then Wednesday, so we go 3 days in a row. So Wednesday is our tough day. It's multi-phase, lots of ball and play time. It's pretty tough work, but you're out of there by sort of 1 o'clock. You're done and dusted, and then day off Thursday. Little captain's run on Friday, and bang away on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, nice. And you mentioned there like a fast day or playing fast. And I was chatting to one of my friends who plays with Connacht 10 as well, and he was saying that they've kind of changed around things that they train the way they play. So there's much more of an emphasis on training at pace versus 8 or 10 years ago, you're kind of going through the motions. Is that kind of like, are your sessions a bit shorter than they would have been a few years ago?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a big emphasis, obviously, now with technology. So you got GPS. So they're wanting you to hit 90% of your max speed in certain areas of the training. So they really want you to move. And these days, well, especially us, we like to play fast.
Mm.
So if you're not moving fast during the week, then it's pretty hard to turn up and run fast on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then the heavy day, is that like the Wednesday? Is that a bit more like contact or just heavier on the legs
Yeah,
or
yeah, mate. Yeah, there's a lot more body on body contact wise because it's sort of our defense day. So attack day is more Tuesday, which we're running fast. Everyone's smiling and sort of running through a little bit of contact and then going down. Whereas Wednesday's your gritty day. It's a lot more ball and play, and the emphasis on defense. So there's body in front. The forwards do a lot more contact than we do as backs, which we're thankful of. But yeah, they're getting pretty stuck in, mate, especially in units with drives and scrums, and I keep them well away from that. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, no, geez, you definitely need the day off after Wednesday, Serena.
yeah. And you mentioned the different things you're doing there growing up. Like, where did rugby fit in? Were you always rugby mad and want to be a rugby player, or how did that work out?
Yeah, like, obviously, growing up in New Zealand, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to be a rugby player or you're going to play rugby. So, as a young kid, getting up, watching the All Blacks if they were on tour. You get up really early in the morning, or you just watch every Test match. You watch your local team play. My dad was a player, like sort of played in the local club. Then he coached in the local club, so I was always going along, being a ball boy and helping out with his training and stuff like that, and just loved it from pretty much since I could walk. I knew I was playing rugby, and I got to probably I don't know, I was about sort of 12, 13, and I sort of, really wanted to take it seriously. And, when I went to high school, that sort of still started kicking off when I got to about 15.
Yeah. And so what was there was a moment you kind of realized you want to make a bit of a career out of it when you were that age, was it?
Yeah, sort of when I got to like 15, 16, when I started making some sort of my national or some of my province teams for Taranaki, and playing pretty high level at school, playing in the first 15 and things like that. So yeah, I just sort of got told, I had a few guys telling me, you can sort of get pretty far if you sort of knuckle down. And so there was lots of times when I was sort of 17, 18, at the end of my sort of school career, I was sober driving a lot for the lads
Mm.
while they were out partying. But they were the small sacrifices I made to follow my dreams.
Yeah. And did you find it difficult at that time, like to to make those sacrifices? Like doesn't sound easy.
Yes and no, but I think I had a really good friendship group that understood where I wanted to go. And I was from I'm from the coast, which is 45-minute drive into town. Um, so it was all my coast mates would always go up to town on a Saturday night after we play, and someone's got to get up there. So I'd drive the lads up and would go and party, and I'd drive them back, and sort of it became the thing there for a while. And um, they were obviously pretty supportive because they had a sober driver, and
Yeah.
I still enjoyed myself. So that was all good.
Yeah, good stuff. And did you have any like mentors growing up? Like anyone have a word with you about how like far you could go, or did you kind of realize all that yourself and make those decisions to be quite mature? Like,
Yeah, look, obviously my dad was a massive influence in how I went, and he was never pushy. He just gave me the best tools to do what I wanted to do. And you always have your local coaches going through the system that always give you pretty good feedback, and pave the way of how it can go. And everyone was just really supportive. We're a pretty rural country, like county where we are. In Taranaki, we're all farmers, and so everyone sort of is pretty level-headed and down to earth. So I think that upbringing really helped me just stay grounded the whole way through, and just work really hard to try and achieve what I wanted to achieve.
yeah. And then you headed down to Wellington when you finished high school, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And was that always who did you support them growing up? Because I was just like kind of looking at the map, and it's kind of where you grew up is kind of right between Chiefs and Hurricanes kind of county, isn't it?
Yeah, so when I was at Taranaki, that's Hurricanes.
Okay.
So in the past, sort of, I think they changed maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They changed that became the Chiefs came into Taranaki and took that region. But
Okay.
when I was growing up, it was always Hurricanes. Everything was Hurricanes, and yeah, Wellington sort of contacted me about going into their academy. And yeah, I suppose you looked at the team sheet and who was playing for Wellington at that stage, and it was full of All Blacks and full of the stars. So it was an opportunity I couldn't turn down, really.
Yeah. And how was that then going into full time rugby with all those stars coming from a small town?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. It was pretty hard not to walk into a change room. And you've got the likes of Jonah Lomu and Christian Cullen, Tana Umaga, Jerry Collins, these guys just to sort of not get a bit like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is pretty awesome. But we had a really good group of young guys coming through, the same age, like myself, Pity Wepu, John Schwalger, Tamati Allison, guys like that. It was a really good core group of young guys coming through at the same age as me. So um, we were able to sort of band together. But the older guys were really welcoming and really helped us that transition of coming in.
Yeah. And then you played there for a couple years and you were playing quite a bit, but then decided to make the move up north to the Blues. Why did that come about? Or
Yeah, it was just it was one of those things. Um, it was kind of hard being sort of probably the known only non-All Black in the team all the time, like in the back line. And one of the coaches, we sort of we got along really well, but then you just sort of didn't really see eye to eye for a while. So I just thought that what an opportunity to go and experience something different in a different province, and just see how if that sort of brings the hunger out to really trying to achieve my goals. And I really enjoyed moving up to North Harbour and battling away up there. And we had some really good games, and obviously played in the Blues and had some outstanding individuals in that team as well. So got to experience a couple of different cultures within New Zealand, which was I think in the long run's been really good for me.
yeah, and I can imagine the goals like back then was to be an All Black, was it?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's every young kid's dream to put the black jersey on.
Yeah, and then you after a season with the Blues headed up to Europe.
Yeah, it was one of those decisions. It was like there's just like so many people in the 10 shirt. Dan Carter, obviously there for ages. Nick Evans had been there for a while. Guys like Luke McAllister, Stephen Donald were still floating around. It was a decision that I was like, well, these Dan's still really young, like he's only a year or two older than me, so he was going to be there for a long time. So I just had a young daughter. She was just born, so I thought it was a good opportunity and to go and sort of I suppose explore the world while we could, and hopefully sort of the plan was only to just go for a couple of years and see how it I suppose it can improve my rugby and then come back and give it a really good shot to try and make the All Blacks. But yeah, I'm still sitting there right now.
Yeah, yeah. I saw you got your British citizenship there. Congrats, and
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool. So I thought I've been here for too long. It's something I need to do, and it's just really good for the kids. Really, I suppose my son was born in Newcastle, so it was good to get him citizenship, and same with my daughter. So if we eventually go back to New Zealand and they want to come back over, or we went home want to come back over, it's just nice and easy just to come straight in.
yeah, for sure, it's nice for them to have the passport. And what kind of differences did you find when you moved up to Newcastle? Like it's watching when I was watching Super Rugby growing up, when you'd be playing, it's a certain brand of rugby, and then the UK and Ireland is quite different.
Yeah, firstly, it is freezing up up in Newcastle. I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't know what I walked into, but yeah, the rugby was really different, and it took me a little while to get used to because a lot of emphasis on set piece, a lot of emphasis on defense, playing in the right areas. With a big kicking game, it was very. My first couple of years up there was very like 10-man rugby. The weather dictated a lot of that, with the pitches as well. Um, so it did make me. I think it made me really grow as a player. I really had to take control and put the guys in the right areas, and it was all about put the guys in the right areas. Set piece will do the job. and then we just tick over the scoreboard if that's shots a goal or we score tries. Obviously, it's changed a lot since
Yeah.
I've been here, but that first few years, it was definitely an eye opener. But I enjoyed the challenge. I really enjoyed the challenge.
Yeah. And like, what did you know about, say, the Premiership or that before you went up? Like, did you know a whole pile, or is it just having new experience and see how it goes?
Yeah, not a lot really. I had a few mates that played we were playing in Newcastle. So Tane Tuipulotu was playing there. Obviously, I played with him in the Hurricanes. Carl Heyman was up there as well, and a few other Kiwis that I sort of knew quite well. So that made the transition easier, and obviously talking to them before I made the decision, it helped sort of just get a gauge of what I was about to walk into, which it definitely helped myself and my family of making that transition.
Yeah. And how was it at the start when, like, growing up in New Zealand, it would have been like really flown rugby, like you say, and playing in that Hurricanes team, the Blues team. Like, I can imagine how you played probably your whole life, and then to go into Newcastle at that time. Like, I know you said it was a challenge and you grew from it or because of it, but was it difficult in the moment? Did you feel kind of curtailed?
Yeah, it was obviously a lot of the guys had told me just come in and don't try and change things. Just come in and just go with the flow, and because it is so different, you don't want to be that guy that comes in and say, "Well, hang on, we do this at home, and why
Yeah.
aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that?" So I did really just come in and just sort of tried to blend in, and then as time went on, I was able to sort of um, share some ideas of what sort of gameplay we done and certain moves and stuff like that. And it was, as I said, it was really helpful having Tane there as well because he liked to he would just come from the similar background as me. So we tried to implement a few things, and it was just a bit funny because some of the boys up there just never used to they were like, "Well, what do you mean you're
Yeah.
gonna throw a miss pass in a couple loops and go around there?" It's like, so it was quite eye opening for them as well. But yeah, it was. I just didn't try and go in there and think that I knew best. I just tried to go in and sort of just learn the ropes as I was coming through.
Yeah, that's good advice. And yeah, I can imagine there are some people thinking, "What do you mean you're not going to kick the ball? We're in our 22. That's what you do."
Yeah, no, there was a few times I was ready to run, ended up running by myself because I seen an opportunity and everyone's looking at me like, what are you doing,
Yeah,
mate?" But I think they clicked on pretty quickly that I was more of a runner than a kicker.
yeah. And do you find now, like as a senior player, or maybe any player does, but that coaches are, it's kind of collaborative nowadays with in a team environment with coaches, players, that do your coaches look for ideas from you?
Yeah, definitely. My coach was just texting me then, just showing me different options, and I was texting back talking about different options you can do this week. And it's really the coaches are trying to learn as much as they can off players, as much as we're trying to learn off them. So it's not, back in the day, it was like, okay, we're going to do X, Y, and Z this week, and that's it. Now it's like, hey, we see these opportunities. This is where we think we can attack them. Does anyone else have any ideas? And then they chuck the ideas, and they're like, "Yeah, no, that's good. We'll put that in." So it is a lot more sort of bouncing ideas off each other because at the end of the day, we're the ones on the field, and we need to own sort of the game plan. Because if we don't believe in it and don't own it, then how are we supposed to go out and perform?
Yeah, 100%. And have you had that in the past where you didn't believe, or some of the players didn't believe the way that you're playing?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, all the time. It's just, but it's just you shut up and got on with it. It was just how it
Yeah.
was. If you wanted to play, you just knuckled down and cracked on.
Yeah, it's mad thinking back the way it was like that, and how it seems so obvious right now to like for coaches not to have egos, like and just chat to the players and get their opinions. Whereas, yeah, 10 years ago, how much better it could have been.
Yeah, I suppose that's just evolution of rugby now, isn't it? It's yeah, I think thinking back to some of the players I played with, if they had more input, it would have been pretty scary of how good some of those teams could have been.
Yeah, and with just kind of like being from New Zealand and that, it seems like there's a bit less structure. Definitely, I think I heard Ron O'Gara talk about the less emphasis on defense. But do you feel that it, things can be too structured and there's kind of a balance there of just let the boys play?
Yeah, I think with the defenses now here, they're so like it is the defenses are they're getting a lot stronger with line speed, putting a lot more put a lot more sort of your ball players under pressure, your skill set under pressure. So there is an element of you need structure to break teams down, but it's giving the guys the opportunity and the license to play heads up rugby and play what they see within that structure, and it is really easy to play within a structure. It's not okay. This is a structure. You have to do X, Y, Z. It can be okay. This is a structure, but if you see this opportunity, you've got the ability to to run a bounce line or to run an overs line
Mm,
inside outside. You can do that within a structure. The structure just allows you to keep the ball in play for a longer time because you can look after the ball with your clean out and etc.
yeah, so like the structure is just kind of a broad framework that people know where each other are loosely going to be. Versus, I think a few years back was more like you hit this ruck, then you hit this ruck, then you go around here, and then you go there, and then you kick it into that corner.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's yeah.
how do you find? Did you play all 10 before you moved up here, and then even in Newcastle all 10, and then you kind of start jumping between 12 and back to 10? How do you find that?
Yeah, so I played a little bit of 12 for the in the World Cup with the under 21s.
Okay.
So I played a little bit of 12 there, a little bit at school, not much, but yeah, and then major it was just all 10, 10 and 15 in Newcastle. Played a bit in 15, uh, and then yeah, went to Leinster. It was just pretty much solely 10. Came over to the Wasps as a 10, and then when Cipriani came in. Um, there was an opportunity to play two ball players, and yeah, I sort of have been 12 ever since. And then 12, now I'm a 12 that plays 10 when I need to.
Yeah.
Um, Normally, the older you get, you come back in because you get slower. But I've gone the other way. I've played end up for Wasps. I've played 10, 12, 13, and 15. So I've only haven't played on the wing or at 9 for the Wasps. So I've nearly done the back one.
Yeah. And how do you find it? I know 12 is, as you say, like a second playmaker. It's very close to a 10 these days, but how do you find the difference between you're at 12 this week or you're at 10 this week? Is there much of a difference for you?
Not really. 10, if I'm at 10 this week, I know my body's going to be a bit better come Sunday morning because 12 is, your double figures tackles, double figures hitting rucks. You're chasing the ball on kick chases, whereas 10, you kick the ball and just hang down the back and pass the ball, make a few old tackles. So it's definitely, you got to be your mindset's more sort of physically at 12 than you are at 10. But I I try and play the game exactly as I would as a 10 anyway. So with identifying opportunities, communication, my kicking game, etc.
Yeah. And it's like kind of free flowing. Like if you're there with Jacob Umang at 10 or you're 12, it's pretty. Do you have a kind of pretty free flowing? Like you can just step in front of him and drop behind and kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, definitely. It's wherever we are on the pitch. If we go wide and I bounce out of a ruck and all of a sudden I'm at first receiver, he'll just hold it to second receiver. So
Yeah.
we don't try and cross over. If it just works out in those positions, then yeah, we know what each other are trying to achieve and the framework. So it fits in seamlessly.
Yeah. Nice. And have you always been a goal kicker?
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid, always loved it. I was always kicking. from a lawn over the fence. Over we had like a big old volley board at home, and I used to smash it over that. And then my dad built some goalposts in the back. Sort of in we got like a we're off a farm, so there's had a big paddock out the back by a house. So he put some goalposts up there, and I was always at school during break, kicking goals. Just always loved it.
Yeah,
Always enjoyed that part of the game.
yeah. And did you enjoy the pressure always?
Yeah, like when I was young, when I was real young, I'd always used to nail every kick from the sideline, but miss in front. It
That
was,
seems to be common.
it was
I've seen that a lot from the young
so
lads as well.
funny. I think because you got no pressure out wide,
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, I want to get this, I want to get this. It used to be the old common thread, but yeah, no, I've always just enjoyed the moment. I think because I trained a lot, used to kick a lot, and I just got so comfortable with my own technique that yeah, I just really enjoyed the pressure of some of those big kicks.
yeah. And so recently you have kind of launched the Jimmy G kicking tee, the tee that you've used for a long time. But how did that come about?
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool story actually. It was just before lockdown, sort of around April, a couple of years ago now, before all these lockdowns. I just got a random message on Facebook, and it was a guy called George Simkin, and he was a real pioneer of a lot to do with rugby. He was the first guy to invent the kicking tee. So the kicking tee I used was called the Simkin tee. He invented that. He invented things like with the sevens rugby, if you score a try, you restart again, and all like that kind of things. He invented the bigger goalpost pads. And anyway, he just randomly got in contact with me on Facebook, and he sent a message like, "Look, we've never met before. I'm George Simpkin. I designed your kicking tee. Your success has been mine. I've watched your career right throughout. Um, if you want to have a chat, I've got some interesting stuff I'd like to share with you. Um, Give us a ring." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's pretty random," but I thought, "Oh, yeah, why not?" Give him a message back, and then we ended up having some great conversations. And it got to a stage, it's like, all right, I've only got a few more months to live.
Oh,
He got terminal cancer, and I was a bit like, whoa, like, okay, this is pretty deep now. I'm like, and he was like, look, I've watched your career the whole time, and just love how you kick, and you've always used my tee, and um, obviously I stopped producing them in 2010. That's another story, but how that happened, because I was trying to find them for years. But and he was like, "Look, I want to give you the rights to reproduce the tea and use your name." So I was pretty blown away by it, and so over the next few weeks, we again had some great conversations, and and then unfortunately he passed pretty quickly. And through that, and he before that, he was like, I really would like to see it out before I pass, but obviously COVID hit, and I couldn't get it going. Everything was just taking so long, and it was just really disappointing. I couldn't get it going before he passed away, but I just thought, you know I have to do it. If someone gives you an opportunity like that, I needed to try and resource it, and see what I can do. So um, I had the good guys over in Ireland, a couple of guys over there who do 3D mouth guards, Impact.
hmm.
Um, so they were good enough to draw up a 3D model, and got it going, and ended up getting a company in China to do it all up, and yeah, they finally come over, and now the Jimmy GT is out there for everyone to use.
Geez, that's a cool story and cool that he reached out to you and yeah, awesome that you have them going now. So where can people get them? Online?
Yeah, so it's online at jimmygts.com. So I ship worldwide as well, so you can get on there. Obviously, I'm working with a few talking to a few distributors and stuff that want to stock them. So just trying to get them out there. Just at the moment, yeah, just online, and I've got a garage full of kicking tees, and the missus is helping me post them out daily, which is it's pretty cool to see them flying out the door. And I've used the tee right throughout my whole career. So 20 odd years I've been using that kicking tee, and it's brought me a lot of success. The way I kick, and it's not just you can use it on different angles. It's not just how I use it, straight up and down, traditional way, and it's really nice on the foot because it's made out of thermoplastic rubber. It's not plastic like some of these tees you get now. So sometimes you kick on those plastic tees, you hit the ball, and it bloody hurts your foot.
Yeah,
Um, so these ones, it's kind of really nice and soft, and it's a low tee, but it's got a double action, so it can go lower than you want as well. But yeah, it fits really well, and yeah, I've always really enjoyed kicking off it.
yeah, and was it 3 golden boots as well? So it's worth it.
Yeah, I've done all right off it, to be fair.
Yeah, and you mentioned there. I know kickers like friends of mine, and they all have their tea, and it's like they have that one tea that works for them or whatever. But what happened after 2010? Like you couldn't get it anymore. Was there any times where you needed to source one?
Mate, I when I moved over here, so 2009, I obviously got my agent. I brought as many as I could in New Zealand, found a few, so I had about 4 or 5. Um, and I was like, mate, try and find me some more. Like, surely, like, where are they? And
Yeah,
so he tracked a couple more down and sent them over. But mate, I was gluing them. I was taping them up. I have a lump like an old ice cream container. I keep my teas in there. There was a ball boy in Newcastle. He's sitting on the sideline. I'm in the middle of the game, in the corner of my eye. I catch him just going like this with my tea, and I was like, the game was going. I turned. I was like, "Oi, stop doing that!" I was like, "I've only got a few of them left." So from then on, like the ball boys weren't allowed to touch my tee. Only sort of our trainers, because they knew they weren't allowed to. You weren't allowed to bend them,
yeah,
and I treated them like better than better than I treat some of my prized possessions. It was right up there with. I had to look after them, and so even in the last few years, I've been just hanging on to them, and my kit man at Wassy was always looking after them. Like we had a famous victory during the lockdown against Saracens away. We took a bunch of it was me and a few others with a bunch of our kids against a full stacked Sarries team, and we managed to win. And everyone was celebrating so hard. I was like, got to the change room. I was like, "Oh, Pudsey, kit man." I was like, "Oh, where's my tea?" And I put it back in my box, and he was like, "Oh, yeah," and no one could find it anywhere. And I was like, it was like this big, like,
where's
shit,
this tea?
Jimmy's tea. Where's this tea? Everyone's running around trying to find it. And someone had put it in the rubbish bin beside our
Ooh,
dugout. And like when everyone was like, just fully celebrating, it just got picked up and put in the rubbish bin. But thankfully, we found it. But yeah, because going to that story, why they came, he stopped making them 2010 because they were shifting um, some of the molds and stuff to a different factory on the back of the truck, and this truck crashed
oh,
and they lost everything.
oh,
And so and George Simkin was like, "Oh, well, I've been producing this tea for years and years and years, so I've sort of done my dash, and never sort of got the mold done again." And that's why from 2010 we couldn't find them anymore. But yeah, it was mad dash for a few years. So I'm pretty thankful now.
yeah.
I've got my teas
Have as
now.
many as you want. Yeah, probably some bitter Saris boy saw it and then was like, ah, sod it.
Yeah, maybe. But
Yeah,
thankfully I found it.
yeah.
But no, it's pretty cool stories.
Yeah, for sure. And then on Instagram, I see as well that you're helping kind of younger players as well through your kicking academy.
Yeah, so obviously, there's never growing up as a kid. There was never any specific coaching through kicking, and it was just sort of the local guy who could sort of kick, and coming over here, I felt it's even probably worse. Guys just don't really know the how to teach the basic skills, and so I thought, why not give back and help the younger generation and sort of hone their skills and just give them the sort of skill set to be able to just kick and enjoy kicking. And so yeah, no, I've been doing that for a few years now and really enjoy it. It's kind of hard. I feel bad sometimes 'cause I get so many requests, but trying to fit them in all in the schedule is pretty tough these days, and especially now with winter. There's, just this week I've had like 4 or 5 like, oh, I'm trying to get in. I'm like, trying to get them in before Christmas, but it is good to try and give back.
Yeah. And so what do you do with it? Like people DM you, but like do you jump on one-on-one calls or do you have like a course or how does it work?
So I've got two options. I can do an online course, which is it's as simple as they'll go and video themselves kicking. I'll give them a couple angles I want to see, and then they send me the videos. I've got this sort of coaching tool,
Mm,
like an app that I can do, and I break their sort of technique down. I like on a voiceover, and I can draw things, etc. I can throw them different videos of sort of technique and sort of practices to do, and just sort of give them tips that way. Or I do a straight one-on-one.
yeah.
Whereas I'll meet up with them, and we'll do a good hour of kicking, and I'll give them exactly the same with the video feedback. And it's been very positive. Everyone that I've done it with have been very positive with their feedback and saying it's really helped them. So it's pretty cool.
Geez, that's awesome. Yeah, I can only imagine how much that'd help. Yeah, having it broken down and everything. And I saw as well that you were coaching like grassroots, like not one-on-one kicking, but like actual coaching a team. I forget the name, but
Yeah, Nuneaton Old Edwardians. Yeah, I've been with them for 5 years, mate. I love it, mate. It's classic old grassroots rugby. There's a good bunch of lads that live for Saturday. They
yeah,
live for that game on Saturday. They're really passionate about playing well for their club and winning. And so, we get good numbers at training, and I've brought guys along the ropes. So when I first started, a scrum half Craig Hampson came and coached with me. Then he moved on. I had Ashley Johnson, a
oh
Springbok,
yeah,
come. He coached with me, and this year James Gaskell was coaching alongside me. So we help them out as much as we can, and I love it on game day if we. It's kind of hard if we're playing and stuff, but if we get to go, yeah, they're doing really well. So we're top of the league at the moment, by about 4 or 5 points. So hopefully we can continue and get promotion to the next league, and the boys will be pretty happy. So we won the Warwickshire Cup at the start of the year. So we've already got one trophy in the bag, and the boys are pretty keen to try and get another one.
nice one. And as a player, you seem pretty calm and composed. How are you as a coach?
Yeah, it's so hard being a
Yeah,
coach.
it's so yeah,
Like, it's like you can't do anything.
yeah,
We don't get our games videoed because we like to give them feedback and try and improve them. And all you can hear is me yelling
yeah.
through the mics, and just seeing different options, and we're like, just go that way or do this, go
I
there.
know.
But yeah, I think we're all right. We're not too bad. We get a bit nervous at times, but I think it's just part and parcel of being a coach.
Yeah, 100%. It's a tough transition. I even found it playing myself then coaching. You're just like screaming, pulling your hair out. You can see everything, but yeah, it's funny.
Well, you can't do anything,
Yeah,
can you?
you
So
can't.
it's like all you can do is like yell an option, but you're not out there playing, so you gotta have trust in what they're trying to do.
Yeah, 100%. What I've learned something recently is just the importance of half time. Like, obviously, as a coach, as you say, you can't do anything, but then I was just working with a coach developer and he was saying, like, make this your best halftime ever. And what are the kind of two key points that will make a difference in the second half. So really just kind of focuses you in and help me like instead of during the first half trying to be animated, it's like, right, how can I be so good at halftime? Because then you can have a little bit of an impact. And then say
Mm,
pre-match, are there I used to just give so many points. Like, did you ever find that a coach, like they say, do this, and there's like a
Yeah.
list A to Z?
There's a, yeah. It's like you get halfway down this and you've forgotten.
Yeah,
It's like, mate, just give me one attack point and one defensive point and let me go.
exactly. Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah, so I try and do that with my attack coaching as well, because otherwise you just stuff in their head full of so many options, and they will just half-ass. Yeah, they won't be able to do everything 100%.
yeah, they get overwhelmed. It's like, and then you feel as a coach, well, I told them these 10 things to do and they didn't do number
Mm,
nine. So, but yeah, it's, you're not actually coaching. And have you any
yeah,
plans for after, well, whenever you do hang up the boots, do you like coaching that much? You might get into it, or any plans around that?
yeah. Look, I do enjoy coaching. I'm still. I don't know. It's probably my mentality of being too late. I'm too laid back to make a decision of what I actually want to do. Which my missus is tearing her hair out. She's got to make a decision what you want to do. And I was like, oh, it'll be all right. Um, so yeah, I think for me, coaching will just come. I think that if I'm going to be a coach, I'll just fall into it. If that's taken a few years out of once I retire, if I take a few years out first and just do what I'm doing, sort of like now, local club rugby, and just sort of, I haven't had for 20 odd years, never had I've never been able to say, oh, this weekend, let's go to a barbecue and hang out, and Mrs. comes home I was come home from work on a Friday night. Oh, let's sit down and have a few glasses of wine. I've never been able to do that
Yeah,
because I've always got something on for the weekend. And so, it's if I take a few years out to sort of just relax a little bit before I fully immerse myself into coaching, that may be a point. But I might just run into something straight away, which you can't turn down. But it's definitely an option. It's definitely an option. I do really enjoy giving back to players. Um, yeah, just these days the coaches are in work seems like forever.
yeah,
They're never away from work.
yeah. That's not a good side of it. Yeah. And you say they're laid back, and are you like that around your plane?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I think I take things as they come. I don't try and get too overexcited. I'm pretty you probably see me play, like I wear my heart on my sleeve, and
Yeah,
I'm 100%. I'm always in going for it, and but I don't really I don't go off at players around me. I try and I'm pretty calm when I speak to guys. Um, just I think growing up with a lot of guys around, sort of playing with a lot of island rugby players. Sometimes if you go off at them, they'll shut down,
mm,
and there's certain people that do that. So I've just been, sort of been able to learn of how to speak to different people. I know which guys like to have, a rocket up their ass, but other guys, if you give them a rocket up the ass, they'll just shut down, and then you won't get the best out of them. So I try and sort of treat everyone like that, and just sort of during the game, just be very calm and in my sort of the way I talk to people, and I do find you get the most out of people doing it that way.
yeah, for sure. And that's, yeah, so important, as you say, about knowing how to talk to different people.
Yeah, it's huge, mate. It's huge because everyone's different and everyone reacts different, and that's the key to just knowing your teammates, knowing how they like to be taught to, and how they react to different messages and different ways.
Yeah. And do you get nervous around games or feel pressure?
I think the day I don't get nervous is the day I probably think, I need to give it up, because I'm probably taking. I think yeah, you got to ask yourself why. Um, because when you're little, it means something. It means you know you've done your homework. You're itching to get out there. Um, when you're too relaxed, that's when you're going to be behind the eight ball very very quickly.
Yeah. And have you always dealt with the nerves well, or is there ever a time when you're younger and say like you get crippled by them or get anxious and it'd affect your performance?
I used to get really nervous. I used to be, you know, but now I'm always focused to be um, you know, progress young. You're thinking, "Oh, I need to do this to perform to keep that. Uh, I think every player goes through that part of their life, and as you grow as a player and as you grow as a person, you understand that you understand reason and what you need to do to perform at your best every week.
Yeah, that's great advice. And what has been your happiest period of your career?
I don't know. I just really enjoy the camaraderie of a team, a rugby team, and obviously in New Zealand, games in Wellington, and really the rugby was tough in Newcastle, but the people sometimes are from that era, and the people are unbelievable. I really enjoyed Dublin, the whole culture, the rugby, and it was, it's 2017. I probably played arguably my best season of my life, and you know, been here ever since, and um, to still be playing this game at the tender age of 38.
Yeah. And what's the secret before I let you go? Like how you seem to be getting better. Like as you say, in 2017, you're wasn't a Premiership Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year, and yeah, you seem to just keep getting better and better.
Having the love for the game. Um, I understand my body. I understand what I need to do to be in the best. But so I'm really aware um, of rugby and having different goals outside of rugby as if whatever that and because like most young people, I used to think of rugby 24/7. Like it was just I'd watch rugby, I'd think rugby, and just but now I finish rugby, I'll do my homework, and then I'll just switch off. I've got my family, and that's why surfing was always been a big part of my sort of my sort of success because I can go and jump in the ocean and I don't think of rugby whatsoever, and that's what I do when I play golf or I'm with my family. I don't think about rugby, and having that switch it allows it to be mental, you know, training or a game. That switch will go on, and it's not on 24/7, which that switch is on 24/7, and you can just burn out. A big help for me to be still um, right throughout these years.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's
Win, mate. I still want to win trophies. I way finals and had way too many silver medals. So I want trophies.
that's awesome. Yeah, it's yeah, so important to be able to switch off. Well, hey Jimmy, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it, and awesome to see you still killing it. And best of luck with the kick and tees and the academy and rest of the season and everything going forward.